What up, friendos? So this was announced, Brighter Shores. It's an all-new adventure from award-winning MMORPG designer Andrew Gower. It is an enchanting point-and-click style RPG with hundreds of hours of gameplay, set in a land of magic and mysteries with a huge number of professions to try and something new to find around every corner. This is basically RuneScape point whatever you're going to call it. This is one of the original people that made RuneScape, and he's apparently spent 10 years making a new MMO. You can obviously see the influences of it, and it seems to be a run at replacing what he once made, which has turned into a bit of an abomination, obviously, because you've got RuneScape 3 that not very many people play. You know, still a populated game, but not hugely popular compared to what it should be with a RuneScape name. And then you've got old school RuneScape, which is a super old game, which is basically restrictive of new people getting into it because they look at it, they play it, they understand like the tick system and stuff, or at least they understand it exists, and then they get turned off by it and don't bother. Obviously, it's a mad popular game because nostalgia, and for what it is, there's nothing else really like it. But obviously, being one of the people that made RuneScape, he regrets, selling his stake in the company and then it becoming what it is due to investor pressure. So instead of, just lamenting or launching a Kickstarter like a bunch of other MMO veterans and godfathers of the genre did, and then ripping people off, he instead went and created an MMO, didn't tell anyone, didn't promise the world, and then 10 years later, this is what we have, Brighter Shores. So we're going to watch the trailer in a second. They're not asking for any money. They've not announced the game 5 years before it's done and hyped everyone up and released dev blog every month and basically made people bored of the game before it even releases. They're launching in Q3 2024, apparently. Hopefully that's true. And I will give any MMO that doesn't kickstart, doesn't sound like it's going to be a pay-to-win mess, doesn't promise the world, and isn't on the blockchain, I'll give them all the time of the day, every day, even if it's not something that immediately jumps out at me as like, this is the future. This looks like it's going to be the past, but updated to the future, and that's fine with me. So here we go, let's watch. Can I have full screen, Steam? Hello? Okay.
You want to join the Hopeport Town Guard? Then here's what you need to know. We're not just about fighting fire toads. We also investigate potential threats and help out the people we meet. All recruits will learn how to use magic, alchemy, and whatever this thing is.
So one of the cool things about RuneScape always, right, is just the depth and level of involvement with almost every aspect of the game. The quests are really in-depth and really cool. The story's cool. The crafting is a huge aspect of the game to the point where you don't have to play like a theme park does, where it sets you on the road and it says, you need to go from level 1 to level 120 and you've got to do quests and you've got to grind monsters. It just kind of starts you out in the world and says, do what you enjoy doing. And as you do that thing you enjoy, you get better at it. And then there's more stuff to do relating to that thing. And that's why I think games like this are just better, because it's evergreen content that doesn't require a big team to be constantly pumping out story updates or whatever. It's just something you can do, and then when you're done with it, you can just go take a break, and then you come back and there's all this other stuff you didn't do, or the stuff you're returning to. I think this has always been the better model, at least especially for a smaller company. There's places for other games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV that do the narrative-driven, patch cycle type of game. But for me, I've always appreciated stuff like RuneScape specifically for this cool sandbox aspect. In terms of graphics and stuff, it looks fine. I'm personally not a person that cares about graphics at all, but I do understand a lot of people do. If you're going to get turned off by this style, I understand to an extent, but it just seems serviceable for what kind of game you're going to be playing.
You will also be trained in essential survival skills, like fishing, blacksmithing, and assembling dinosaurs.
Cool.
So, set sail for Brighter Shores today.
Fen Research. So it looks like you're either on small, really small maps, a la Albion Online style, or there's some kind of like fog of war system, maybe with line of sight. Clearly, it's based on tiles, you know, like blocks of movement, just like RuneScape is. So a lot of similarities straight away. I do think it's interesting and would like to know what the situation is with are the maps smaller? Is it, you know, a Fog of War style thing, which could be cool, especially if they do have some kind of like wilderness thing in there with open world PvP. If it's only PvE, I'm not exactly sure I understand why you'd want to do that. Maybe it's a limitation of tech, who knows? So it basically does look almost exactly like what you'd expect from RuneScape, right? Just with a lick of paint and probably different monetization, and more focus on, you know, enjoyable gameplay rather than making money. So yeah, I'm all for this so far. Yeah, it's weird how the map looks. An ongoing story. Yeah, I think it must be Fog of War, or a very, you know, point A to point B map without a lot of veering off course. Maybe, I don't know. It's weird to look at, because obviously you can just see in every screen there's just a bunch of like unused space and like very narrow play areas, so it doesn't seem very, you know, big and open, which is interesting. The towns do a little bit more. Yeah. Maybe I think it's Fog of War. Yeah, I think it's Fog of War as opposed to smaller maps. At least that's what it seems like. Now, are we really going to glean anything from reading this? Huge number of professions, such as fisher, forager, chef, woodcutter, miner, alchemist, stonemason, merchant, blacksmith, and many more. Cool. Exactly what I like. So they discuss monetization here. My favorite. Premium Pass. There are hours and hours of content you can play for free. However, if you want more stories, professions, and places to explore, you can buy a Premium Pass. Premium Pass gives you many benefits, including access to all related episodes. So for free, you get Hopeport and Hope Forest. With the Premium Pass, you get Mine of Mantaban, Chronopolis, unique character name. Wait, what? Unique character name is one without a suffix. You cannot use a unique name someone already has taken. Okay, interesting. So you don't get a unique name if you're free to play. Exclusive armor dice, change your name, and player-to-player trading. So obviously, there's always going to be an ongoing conversation of like, what is pay to win? I think if you treat an MMO that has a premium pass where they lock a bunch of the content behind it as just a subscription game, and the free is an unlimited trial that you can just play as much as you want, but there's certain things you can't do, I think that's the best way to look at it. And I'm fine with this because I grew up in the era of MMOs with subscriptions, so I understand that's part of the reason to make an MMO is the perpetual revenue. And also, if you're going to make a game that doesn't have pay to win in it, you need people to give you money for stuff. So this makes sense. The only contentious point, I guess, is restricting player-to-player trading behind the Premium Pass. But almost no game has figured out, I mean, they have figured it out, but they're not willing to spend the money, how specifically to stop people ruining the game economy with real money trading and the grey marketplace, basically. This doesn't solve that, but it does make it a little bit more difficult and makes it so that if they do ban somebody, they've at least earned money from it as a company, and the person doing it has to think twice about whether or not it's worthwhile to piss money away, basically, to sell things and then get an account banned that they spent money on. So it's twofold, really. Obviously, people are going to be upset that they can't trade as a free-to-play player, but obviously the world works like this. Sometimes you have to pay money for things, and if you don't, a lot of the time you don't get to do the thing. But in this case, you do, just a little bit less than other people. So yeah, that's fine for me. I've seen some people moaning about it, though. But you know, it's 2024. People are going to moan about literally everything. If you give somebody a game with 100 hours of content like Palworld for $30, People will still complain that there wasn't more content in the game. It's just what people like. It is what it is. You can't really please everybody. So would I have said, a week ago, whatever, before I knew this existed, what's the most excited I'm going to be for an MMO? Is it going to be a RuneScape remake? No, of course I wouldn't. But at this stage, with how few and far between MMO launches are, as well as people making them that don't have tenure, people making them that just want money, people making them and asking for your money up front, people saying that they're making them and then 5 years later you still don't have a playable game. Obviously, this is like not a Korean cash shop, pay to win fucking mess. This is not a Kickstarter game. It's not a crowdfunded game. This is real. And we also don't have to wait massively long for it. So that means hopefully there's going to be no burnout on, just the fucking overloaded of information that everyone has to feed you nowadays because they need the engagement and to grow their YouTube channel. I'm not talking about creators, by the way. I'm talking about the company. And also to get their name all over social media because they're probably fucking crowdfunding. And they feel responsible when they have crowdfunded to give you like, today our senior content writer had stomachache and one of our animators made our characters walk 3% better and one of our artists made a shoe. Like, that's basically what you get from a lot of these MMO nowadays for like 5 years. So I'm good with this. Hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully it's cool. It does look like it, and we'll see. But thanks for watching as always. Check the links in the video description, or don't. It's okay, and I'll see you next time. Peace.